see so many here today. Old people or old and all the new people. Welcome. I hope maybe you know a little bit. Maybe the people that brought you here have told you about the 9 energies, and Ennead 9 energies is what they call them in US and Ennead in Norway. So we're very happy to have Susan and Morten here with us today and the whole week. Welcome. It's so exciting that you have written this book. It means a lot for this work. Really, it's not very known. There's actually just a few people walking around on this earth that know about the 9 energies. And it's really actually kind of scary that not more people knows about it, because it is so visible. It's so visible and in the same time so invisible for us. Because we kind of go around a little bit asleep. And that's what we are working on, to have everyone be more awake in their lives, so that we can treat ourselves and all our relations in a better and more human way. So I just want to say, what can you bring what's behind there? That we're so excited to have you here and to hear more about the book and the work you are doing, and how we in 5 years can be where I asked you about yesterday. I asked you, where do you think we are in 5 years? And Susan answered that then we will be invited to be keynote speakers all around the world.
Thank you.
So, Morten will have an interview with Susan, but maybe both of you will say a few words first.
Thank you for having us again. For those of you that met us before, 9 months ago, we were privileged to be invited to join this community. And it changed us. The work we did with you guys was fundamental in our ability to move forward. In the last 9 months, we've learned a lot. We have some new ideas, we have new words. But basically, through being with you and through support of people like Birgit and Morten, we were able to do this work. And I want to acknowledge you all for helping us. Morten and Birgit for inviting us again. Thank you for your hospitality. Tivan for coming from Scandinavia to help us out. And we will be working over the weekend with many people. For those of you who follow us on Facebook, you know, we worked with 500 people in 10 days. More changes and all our knowledge, Susan, is put in the book. And there's some new words, there's some old words. There's some beautiful new illustrations from the Natural Energy One we worked with in person. And with that, they're setting all up.
Morten said to me the other day, well, you put everything you know into the book, and it's true. It's pretty much what I know and what I've learned the last 14 years since I found out my natural energy. Pretty much everything I know is in the book. It's not very big. But it's all there. Everything that I know that is true about what we know about the 9 energies and the purpose of this and where we're going with it. And finding out your natural energy is the beginning of reconnecting to our deepest, most cosmic self. That's what I'm starting to call is your cosmic self. And that allows you to access your cosmic purpose. When you access your cosmic purpose, you can do what you came here to do. And you can start naturally. All of you who have been doing this for a while, you've already begun what I'm talking about in the book. And it's this beautiful journey that you get to be on. And it's a lot happier, nicer of a journey than before you know, in general. So we are so excited to be back here with you guys and see what's coming next. Each major event that we do is creates a physical transformation within us. When we went to Burning Man and identified 507 people in 10 days, we came home and I basically lied on the couch for a month to recover. But it wasn't a recovery, it was a reorganization of everything, from having 70 or 80 of every natural energy give their beauty to me in the course of 10 days. And Morten talked to every single person. I lost my voice on the second day. And I said, what am I going to do? And he said, you're just not going to talk anymore. Because Morten and Birgit didn't come at the last minute, and we were there, and I was like, oh, I was in despair. I was like, oh, I wanted them there to help me. And he said, just stand there and do what you do. And literally, it was just so amazing to just be with a parade of souls. And then everything changed again. And then I know we're going to have another parade of souls this weekend that's going to grow your community. Your community will double or triple this weekend in Norway. And that's what we're looking for. How do we build these communities exponentially? Because it's only when the community comes together that you really learn what is one, what is two, what is three. It's only within being together and seeing how we're the same and how we're different that we begin to learn what this means for ourselves and for those around us.
It's very clear that we as humans are meant to be in a community. And natural energies are here to help us inform the community what needs to get done. As it turns out, each of us has the ability to tell the community what needs to get done. And we're so focused on fixing what we see ourselves in community, we can use our own strengths. This stuff is known by the body before you were born. We've started typing pregnant women, typing the fetus. We're not sure we're right, but it's very clear.
Eventually we'll find out.
Yeah. It's very clear that the fetus has an energy signature different than mine. And we can tell what that is. Any of you can when they get to practice. So, community is what this is about. And you guys have the first and biggest community in the world.
Yeah. Yep.
Trust them. It's a big deal.
Big deal.
I'd like to share some words.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very nice, yeah.
Oh. So I'm going to do something that I've never done before. I'm going to interview an author.
Something I've never done either.
Relax, thank you.
So what we're going to do is I'm going to ask Susan about different things that I'm really, really curious about from the beginning. We have this wonderful book which you have written, but it started a long time before. So when did it start for you?
I knew I was going to write a book when I was about 10, 40-something years ago. A long time ago. My daughter asked me that the other day. She said, did you know you were going to write a book? I said, yeah. I've known I was going to write a book since I was very young.
So, but before you started to write a book,
Yeah.
You started with this work. So when did it start?
In 2002, as part of the leadership program,
Yeah.
that was a leadership program that Well, it started actually when I had my kids. And once my daughters were born, I have 3 daughters, they're beautiful. The 2 is 7 and 8. And once they were born, I realized that the life that had been laid out for me by society and my parents was actually not the life I was meant to lead. I had somehow gotten a script written for me that wasn't for me.
What do you mean,
And
a script?
a script like in a play, like I was living in a play,
Yeah,
somebody else's play they'd written,
yeah.
and there I was doing everything the way the script was written. But it wasn't my script, it was everybody else's. And I'm going to step back one step further
Yeah, okay, cool.
to when I realized I had a cosmic self.
Yeah.
I was 10 years old, and I hit my sister really hard, really bad, and I slugged her. And then I was sent to my room because I had hit my sister. Not a nice thing to do. And I was out on the rooftop looking at the stars. And I realized that I had a better way of being. That there was something else that was there for me. That I had a cosmic purpose. I had something very, very big that I was here to do. And I remember that moment. It's like, okay, that moment is still a guiding moment, you know. And I think this is one of the things that I think probably every one of you has a moment like that if you go back over your life. There was one moment when you knew that you were a special being. And that moment never gets validated. You know, I think you're the first people I've ever told about that moment because it was my moment. But I've held that, you know, it's like, God, do I have a cosmic purpose? I have a cosmic thing I'm here to do, God damn it. And I lost it. Because I think we have our first spiritual awakening somewhere around 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 as we enter puberty. And so when our children hit that age, the world then comes down on us and says, no, you can't be that cosmic being that you're meant to be. And you have to behave, you have to fit in, you have to follow the rules, you know, all of the stuff of society that takes our cosmic being and says, no, you're only this big. I'm sorry, you're not that big. And so after my kids were born, I knew it was time. I couldn't mess around anymore. They were too important. It was too important to my children that I find who I was supposed to be. Because my children, it wasn't fair to make them do what I did. It was not good. No, it had to be different.
So you knew that very early.
You know, on and off.
And then you figured this out. There is 9 energies. We are in 2003.
Yeah, when I found out my natural energy, it made everything in my life made sense.
Makes sense.
All of a sudden, bam, everything fell in place.
Can you say something more about that?
So we'd traveled a lot when I was young, and I'd been in all the cathedrals in Europe and all the museums and all the amazing energetic places. And I would walk into those places as 6 and I'd go, wow, oh my God, it's amazing. And my family would be looking like this. Oh, it's amazing. Can't you feel it? And they were like, no, what are you talking about? And that was my life. I walked around feeling how amazing the world was. And they would look at me like there was something wrong. My dad would tell me to hurry up. My mother would point out how beautiful things are. and that I understood.
She's a 1.
She's a 1. But she looked at it so differently, you know. And she was critical of me. Yeah.
Everybody knows that Susan's a 6.
I'm a 6. I'm actually 6. And that movement center is at the center of this journal. And 6 is feel. They feel the world. They feel the presence of energy. We get to live in community with the joyful aliveness of community. And the role of 6 is to move community forward. This book it's a 6 book.
Yeah.
It's about how you move forward. That's what the book's about.
So there is a lot of people here who have been working with this for a long time, and we are very, very curious about it. We have one question from all of us.
Hmm?
How did you learn this?
How did I learn it? You mean how did I learn how to identify people?
Yeah.
The first thing I did was join a community of people that were equally committed to learning about this.
Mm-hmm.
And I did everything I could. I donated my time and energy and everything for 12 years. And then somewhere along the way, the community figured out that we had to learn how to activate the other 8 energies in our body. And as a community, we dedicated ourselves to helping each other learn how to turn the other energies on in our body. As soon as I could turn at will any of the energies on in my body, I realized I could now feel other people. And I could get a sense into their world that I had never, I was like, before they were just a bunch of people. And all of a sudden they became a bunch of souls.
So if you're standing in front of your beautiful husband, 5, and Martin, I say 5, Martin. So what do you feel? You are with him, I should understand you love him. You have seen that. That's great. But you work with him, what do you feel?
When I'm identifying somebody,
Yes,
for example?
with him.
With him, I don't know, he's my husband.
Okay, who are you working with, Susan?
Everybody, a lot of people.
Yeah. So Rigmor, what do you feel when you work?
Oh, when I work with Rigmor, I feel this, I feel the creative power of the earth in coming my body. I feel my body drop in center. So, I feel a sense of, I feel, I begin to be aware that I have a whole body all the way, head to toe. I feel a sense of power in my body that I don't feel when I'm not in conscious connection. I feel like we as a community can do anything when Ennead is here.
Thank you. Yeah, you can actually feel it.
Yeah.
So we can give another example. Anders is one. What is the difference? You go from Rigmor and then you're over to Anders.
With Anders, I know I will be okay, no matter what. Because I know I have a connection to my cosmic self, and my cosmic self is part of Source. And Source energizes us all. And then as long as I'm in alignment with my cosmic self, everything that I need here will be okay, and we can move forward.
So you're able to, are you able to feel him, or is it, what is it you feel from him? Is it his,
I feel this connection, and I feel him feeding me Source. I feel him feeding me Source. I feel him honoring me, and I feel my heart warm. And then everything else disappears, and you start to float in Source. It's a beautiful thing.
it's amazing.
It's amazing.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
And it's a huge difference of the feeling.
Oh yeah, huge difference. And we're always bringing our energy into the world. Everybody here is currently, and it's beautiful because all 9 are present. You don't get to be with all 9 with consciousness very often. It doesn't happen yet very often. Maybe it's our 5th or 6th time. There's a wholeness to it that is not, you don't get to have very often.
So I'm jumping a little bit. So you learned it, or you created it.
Well, I learned how to activate all.
You learn how to activate.
Then I had to jump.
Okay, sure.
Then I went to Burning Man.
Yeah.
I was-
You kind of left your own, you walked your own way together with Martin. Can you say something about it? You left the community and went your own way.
Yes, yes, I did.
Yeah.
So the people that we were working with started to move away from what I thought was fundamentally true about this. This is our body-based spiritual experience. And it is through our bodies that we know this. And they had gone a different direction. They had gone to looking outside of our bodies to activate this. And that did not feel right to me. And it was a very tough decision for me to decide to leave that community because I'd been deeply in that community for 12 years.
Do you think that's the sixth thing to
No.
go, or no?
I mean, no. No, there's a lot of people left the community. I wasn't the only one who came to the same conclusion.
So this book is a physical expression of the work,
Yes.
or by explanation in a way. I don't want to say explanation either, because when I read it, I can feel it.
It's an invitation.
It is an invitation.
Yeah, it's an invitation to explore this.
So say something about the writing process. There is many people have a book in their stomach. Many people have a book in their stomach. So how is it to write a book?
This one was particularly hard, because every time we go and do a big event, everything would change again. So I'd write a little, and also, there's nothing.
Yeah.
So you write 3, you get a structure for 3, you hit the 4th and you realize, oh shoot, I have to start all over again because I have a better way. And then, well, do I rewrite those 3 or just keep going? And so getting all 9 done was really, really hard. It was really hard. And when I did, I also realized that I wanted to write a book that anybody could read, even if you didn't know your natural energy. So I didn't want to write a book that was just for people who knew their natural energy. And this was a real struggle because how do you tell people, well, there's 9 different kinds of people. Once you know this, yeah, you're like, duh. But before you know it, the world does not take openly to new information. This is new information for the world. It may be a remembering, it may be something we knew in ancient cultures. So there's something that once you feel it. But, so I really struggled with that for a long time. And so the structure of the book kept changing. It was going to first be one book about the 9 energies. I would write a chapter, tell some stories about what one's like, and talk a little bit about one in relationship, and then do that with 2, and I did that with 3 or 4 of them, and then I hit a wall. I didn't write anything for 6 months or so.
How long time?
4 years.
4 years.
And it's only 150 pages. Yeah.
So shall we open it?
Yes.
Okay. Nobody's read it yet, as far as I know.
I need to ask you to read something.
Okay.
So, of course, you open and you choose.
I'll describe the structure basically, because it ended up relatively. Oh, there's one other little important story to tell, which was I started getting messages from people that we work with and a sense of something that was important. Like people said, why 9 years? Why is this important? Who cares? Because I had a lot of friends who thought of their energy just didn't care and moved on in their lives and never did anything with it. And I looked at them and I was like, how can you not care? This is you. This is not for me. And I said, no, it's not for you. It is you. and so I started getting trying to put the words down about why is this important and what does it give you. And it started as a blog, one single blog. And I blogged on becoming your own observer. That's my first one. So how do you learn to observe your own behavior? When you activate your natural energy, you activate your cosmic self. Your cosmic self is able to see your behavior. If you want to change your behavior, you have to first be able to see it. Become your own witness to what you're doing in your life. So when you do something that's not in alignment with you, you know. Otherwise, you just keep going and keep doing the same thing over and over again. And if you want to change, so I wrote a blog on that. And then I wrote a blog on maybe courage, how change takes courage.
Yeah.
So I kept writing these blogs, and before I realized I'd done 9 really cool blogs. And I realized that they were actually principles for transforming yourself. And that they came from my experience of being with people of each of the 9 energies. They aren't tied one to each. This is the process that came. So the whole second half of the book is about what are the 9 practices, and there just happens to be 9. So I broke them into 2 sets. The first set is about how do you actually change your behavior. So how do I recognize what I'm doing, look at my underlying deep-seated beliefs, and then decide if I want to keep them or not.
That's what you call the cosmic self, no?
Yeah, that's the cosmic observer.
The cosmic observer.
Cosmic observer. And then the second half is, then how do you manifest? So now if you have your cosmic observer leading you through life, how do you manifest with your cosmic observer instead of with your will and all the other ways that we manifest or not manifest? Because if you don't actually consciously tell the universe what you're trying to manifest, you become an innocent bystander to other people that are.
So what do you mean with the universe? You say, telling the universe.
So-
how do you do that?
How do you do that?
Yeah.
You tell it.
No,
You give voice, you say.
Yeah, you say.
Yeah, you get your three, and you sit down with your three, and have him ask you lots of questions about you. And he will pull your cosmic purpose out of you, and when three actually has the ability to accelerate information into the cosmic field. So I talk about the universal field as the combination of our hopes, our dreams, our intentions, our fears, everything is in it.
Yeah.
And if you don't put things in it consciously, your junk goes in, and the universe says, oh, junk in, junk out.
Yeah.
So it's really very, very important to be careful with your thoughts and your words and your actions.
What you ask for.
What you ask for. Very, 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 very important.
So what do you ask for now? You have done this book. What do you ask for?
I'll tell you when I get home after this weekend, because everything's going to change.
Yes.
And
That's the good thing.
you know, if you'd asked me 2 months ago before I went to Birmingham if I thought I'd be sitting here now doing a book signing, I would have said no way. I think the book wasn't even done.
So
you
it's
know.
work. It's working this.
Yeah. Yeah, and every big event, every coming together of a community that can create consciously, like you are literally the only community I know that can create consciously together with all my energies. You're the only one in the whole world that I know that's doing this. It's amazing. And we need more. We need a lot more people. That, you know. And it's going to happen. I'm feeling that coming.
So you ask what thing, or you send it out in the universe. But so that's one view. But how do you manifest it?
Well, there's a chapter here about wise action.
Yeah.
So you have to figure it out. What do I want? You put it out there. And then you have to take what I call wise action. Wise action is action that's in alignment with your purpose
Okay.
and for the good of all. And in integrity with what you're trying to create. And essentially without your will involved.
Do you think it happens when all the mind is integrated in that?
Makes it easier. I don't know what's really coming next when we do have this conscious creation with the community of all 9 active at the same time. I don't know what's really possible yet. I'm really excited to find out, and I know that we will.
Yeah.
But Martin alluded to it earlier, which is we're always sending out our contribution. And learning about the other 8 allows you to receive the contributions of the others without judging them and making them wrong and wondering, what are they doing that for? And when you can then receive, you can also, another chapter in here is about non-attachment.
Uh-huh.
So I give my gift to you. I'm here, I'm giving you my gift. This is my gift.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here, I give it. If you all take this home and put it on your bookshelf and never read it, that's fine. I'm unattached. If you read it and say, Susan, there's a typo on page 50, I'll be very grateful. You know, this is the first, this is edition 1. There may be a typo on page 50. I haven't looked yet.
So the contribution can be anything.
Anything. Yeah. And it's about putting your energy into the community so that the community has it. You are not a neutral. You are something that's important, and you have a cosmic purpose. Bringing your cosmic purpose to the community is critical.
I'm just using a couple of examples of these cases. Stefan and John is sitting here. Energy 4.
Yeah.
What do they do?
They glue us all together. They remind us that our cosmic selves are one. That we all come from the same life force. And So we're together already. We're together.
And there's one more.
Yeah.
She's still your own. The fourth. Does it make sense? It does? Amazing.
Yeah, cool.
How is it to listen to this for those who never been here before? Is it? You never been here before? Never been here before? Yeah. How is it? Do you understand it?
It's very, very
It's very.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
I like it.
You like it?
I like what I hear.
Thanks.
Very nice. And you?
I just have a lot of questions.
Yeah, that's a normal state before you know what your energy is, and then it's a normal state afterwards too.
And
So,
every word you say makes sense.
Yeah.
But it creates another question.
Mhm.
So, like, how fast can you feel this energy?
Yeah.
You know, as soon as I touch you, or there's so many questions. Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. But we have to open the book.
We have enough to look at. Yeah. So there's 2 halves to the book. The first half
Yeah.
is these. Okay, there we go. So each of the sections has a drawing that shows the active area for it. So this is 9, and so it's on the back, so you can draw the front. So each one of each section has a description of sort of the highest level purpose for each of the energies. We've drawn these new symbols, which you see on the front of the book in color, and they were drawn by a friend of ours. These illustrations and the symbols were drawn by a young man whose name is Branson. He's a natural energy 1, and he was able to, I think, generate the energy of the energies into the symbols and the drawings, which is very, very hard. We've been trying for years to do that and not succeeded. But I think that each of the drawings actually allows you to feel into the energy of, I guess, the 5. It's like how you create this connection from the top of your head. And it's very much, so the goal was to remind people who know their natural energy how to use their body to regenerate the feeling. Because when you're in your power strength and when your body is active, doing its thing, everything is easier. Your cosmic observer turns on. You have to continually go back to your body and remember to use your body as it was designed. So I have.
And how do you do that?
Well, there's a description in each chapter on how to actually do that.
So if you're 6, you do what?
Well, if you're a 6, you stack your head over your shoulders, over your hips, standing or sitting, so I'll stand. And then for me, I breathe in and expand and lift. I roll my shoulders back and down. I breathe in, expand and lift. I try to live as expanded as I can. And you can actually, as a 6, you can expand your intercostal muscles. These are the muscles in between the ribs. So if you're trying to learn how to activate 6, you actually have to become aware of your intercostal muscles and your ability to expand your chest using your intercostal muscles, which naturally will scare. And so there's these really, really subtle micro movements that your body has to learn to activate the others. And this is actually new at Burning Man, seeing 70 people in a row. Like every single 7 in the world did the same thing. Every one of them. The very same little micro, they didn't look like that at all. Okay. But there's a set of micro movements, little teeny movements that you do, that you're not conscious of. But if I see everyone, like if every 8 stood up at the same time, or every 1 stood up at the same, you see it, you start to see it. And the more you embody it, the more you understand that this is part of me. You see pictures of me when I'm 16 years old, and I'm like this. I'm walking around like this. It's not good. Because I can't be me. And that was what I did to make myself smaller. And to hide my boobs. Protect myself, theoretically. And it just didn't do that at all. It just shut me down.
trying to open the book again.
Let's see what we're reading. What haven't I said yet? Okay, your natural energy is the most influential force in shaping how your body develops and who you become. The most influential thing. You have life experiences and you have culture. You have, whether you're male, female. And one of my friends at the end of last Burning Man, he leaned over to me as we were leaving, he said, Susan, what did you learn at Burning Man that has to be in the book? And what I learned at Burning Man is this crosses culture, crosses race, it crosses nationality, it crosses language, it crosses everything. It does not matter where you're from, you have a natural energy. And if you have the same natural energy as somebody else, you have more in common with them than anybody in your family. And it is so profoundly a bit true across everywhere. And that was really important. Because this shapes your body. The shape of your body, how your face is, how you use the muscles, the soft muscles in your face, how your eyes work, the shape of your eyes. And it's really quite specific.
So that's the physical things, but there is also, we know there's something going on in our mind. And one of the things that really struck me when I met you again after we have been on different paths and
We were just going like that.
Yeah, just going same path. Just anyway, so one of the really, really, really interesting things that I learned from you is that and you write about it, is that I have to look at my beliefs. Can you say something about that?
Yeah. I can. So the cosmic observer lets you see. Once you see, you can keep digging. Because we all have our stories, you know. We have our stories that we've been told by our parents in our school, by ourselves, and I think they repeat over and over again in our head. Oh, you know, and I'll be real about one of mine. So every time I've looked in the mirror, since I can't remember where and when, I always check how big my stomach is. Every single time. How big is it today? It's big. Oh crap, it's too big. Well, somewhere along the way, I developed a belief that my appearance was equal to my value as a human being. This was a fundamentally debilitating belief. And it's held by many, many people, some version of it. And I had to keep looking. And I had to keep saying, okay, I still look in the mirror, I still measure my stomach, okay, still do. And then I say, oh yeah, no, that's right, okay. Your appearance is not your value. Your cosmic self is your value. So I have to keep looking at that deep-seated belief. It's so deep, it's so endemic. Because it's everywhere, it's in the world, it's in every magazine, in every store, it's everywhere. And so how do I, as a person that's teaching this, you know, what's the beliefs that I have to get over? Because when I stand in front of every one of you, if I have these beliefs in my head, my judge comes in. If I'm standing in front of you judging you, you're not going to let me see you. There's no way. There's no way. I stood in front of myself and said, oh, your stomach's too fat for you to be a cosmic being. Oh, damn. I'm in trouble. And it's hard not to do it because they're strong. Every one of us has our deep-seated beliefs that keep us from sharing our cosmic being with each other. So it's very freeing.
So we've been talking about the body, we've been talking a little bit about the beliefs or the sin, is that what we call it? The sin, the thoughts?
Mind.
And you wrote about energy, frequency, and vibration. What do you mean?
Not really sure yet. What's clear is that, well, I like that quote. There's a quote in there, I put in there of Tesla.
Yes.
And it basically said, if you want to understand the mysteries of the universe, you have to look at energy, frequency, and vibration. And essentially that's what we're made of. Our bodies are made of energy. We have sensors in us that sense different frequencies of information. And I think that our natural energy, when I expand my chest as a 6, I'm tapping into information that's available as a frequency of energy that I'm able to feel. When Anders opens his throat, he taps into a different vibration, a different frequency of information. When you tap the earth, something else is available. So that's why it's not neutral. I can't do my 6 at the same time as I do 1, maybe someday. But as of yet, I can sort of turn them on a little bit together, but I just get a little confused when I do that at this point. But, so that's why it's important for you to feel with your body and accept the information that you're getting, because we're all getting different information. And if you assume that everybody else is getting the same information, they're just not paying attention or being stupid, they're not. They're not getting the information that you're getting. Your information is very specific. If they have the same energy, they may be tapping into, they may be able to say the same things. I've been in situations where like there's 3 6s, and I'm sitting there and I'm feeling something, and all of a sudden the one over there will say it. And then I'm sitting there, and the other one will say whatever comes next. So we are tapping and caring about the same kinds of things. So each of the natural energies has a very, very critical part of the whole of humanity.
So when you work with somebody, it's on fire all night.
And me?
Yeah.
I think I cycle them.
You cycle.
I think I do. I think that's what I do.
That's what you do. So there is some frequency and energy
I
inside
check.
of you.
Yeah, I check. So I check the different things in my body. I turn different parts of my body on and feel what's going on in other people's bodies. And I take in the visual cues and all that whole energy, and there's that full consistency of the energies and needs I'm looking for.
Who hasn't been worked with ever? Who have ever done this before? Can you raise your hand? Choose one and work with. We want to see this.
You do? Okay.
We need to see this.
You need to see?
we need to see.
You want me to choose one?
Yeah.
Raise your hands again. It's her.
Okay.
What's your name?
You would, my second name is Margaret, so please use that.
Okay, come stand over here with me. So we're gonna hold hands. And then 1 foot forward and back for balance. And I'm gonna start with some gentle pushes. And I want you to resist without pushing back. That's, then we'll try some different things. Okay, can you push your shoulders? And just be strong. And drop your head all the way down. Big mannequin. All right, I want to try one where you put your arms straight, hands together, 1 foot forward and back. And then maybe a little bit looking bit. So what I'm going to do is, I want you to keep your arms straight. I'm going to try to pull your arms apart. I'm going to try to push you back. And the way to keep me from doing this is, if this is your natural energy, is by smiling and shining joy. Shining the joy you feel in your soul to me, okay? So don't need to pull your arms apart. Hold them together, push, and that's it. Lock your arms out, and then smile. Good, check to see. All right, the next one I want to try with you is hands on your knees. Just let your hands just drop and drop your chin down. It's here on the top of your head. Don't let me push you up. That was easy?
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 foot forward and back. So same thing, up. Stable. You're not going to take that connection away. Now think about your back. Be strong. It doesn't work. Much harder. And be strong. The snatch energy 5. 5 is about knowing what we know, knowing what we don't know. Having a sense of how everything fits together. Knowing that what information is needed to move the community forward, being able to essentially plan and look at all the different scenarios, different ways things happen. And so you help the community to, whatever they bring, you know what to do with it. Does that make sense for you?
Yes.
Yes? Good?
Yes.
So there's a movement center at the top of the head. And they calm us down. It's good.
Very good. Thank you. So, amazing. And I just want to, maybe I should, how should I ask this? So, it didn't look easy. It didn't look easy to go up and just do it.
It isn't. It's never easy.
Never easy. You did a lot of different things.
Depends on who's in front of me.
Yeah.
She was making eye contact, and
Yeah.
so I had needed to check 3,
Yeah.
but she didn't have the idea how to hold her hands together.
Yeah.
But that's very easy for 3. And she did not bring a smile up into her eyes. Like, look at Tova versus her now. That's a big difference.
Very good.
May I say something?
Yes, of course.
When I was in Birmingham, and this is how I met Susan and Morten, and when I came to the dome, I saw the numbers, and without knowing what it was, I guessed mine. But then the girl before me being tested, she's being tested like, I don't know, I thought you were dancing bars together all over the place, and like it felt for me really long. And then when you tested me, it was like 10 seconds, and you said another. How do you know? You didn't test me, I should. So I was surprised.
I'm always happy when they're quick, let me tell you. It can take me years sometimes. There's some people it's taken me years to figure out their natural energy, and some people it's 10 seconds. And I can't tell you why that is. You know, there's people that misidentify, and I have to go back, and I just hope that people, if they're not happy, that they come and tell me that they're not happy at all. You must tell me, it's important. And I'll work with you as many times as you ask me to work with you, because this is not science. And I'm only as good as I am in the moment. You know, this is hard because you're all watching, going,
Oh, yeah.
it's a lot hard. I have to kind of create an energetic field around me to do it, you know. Burning in, I have a thing I call my magic carpet, and I have a room full of people all around, and I say, come up on the magic carpet, and then it's just me and that person. So I have to create that space where there's just the 2 of us, so they can show up.
Is there any question from the publicum?
Sorry, somebody had a question.
How is it significant for you to find your natural energy as opposed to or connected to being able to activate the other energies?
It seems to me that it's a progression. When you first find your natural energy out, it's a bit of a shock. And it seems to take about 6 months for it to start to land in your body and for it to make sense to you and for you to have the more you practice, the better. But just expand it. So for me, and for most people, I say you have to spend some time with just you. Once you have a way of getting back to your own physicality, your own spiritual nature through your physical nature, and you can start to explore the others. And it is mind-blowing. Just to activate any one of the others. The way everybody else lives compared to your reality is it's indescribably different. the first energy I ever activated besides my own was 4. And I did it by lying on a tennis ball. I had a tennis ball under my abdomen, I lay down face down, because I had to isolate those muscles. I had to learn to isolate just my lower abdomen and let that stay really, really engaged, really active, while the rest of my body completely gave up, because my tendency is to hold my chest very, very, very firm. Sixes have a tremendous amount of tone in their chests, because we have to do that in order to do our jobs. So for me to let go of that tone, become the noodle that I had to become, a 4 take over and it was like a rebirth experience, is what it felt like to me. I went so deep into myself, and then I had these weird things happen, and oh my God, it was like, wow, do you guys live there? And the reality is they do. They do. And people say that to me the first time they activate 6, and I go, no! It's not like that, really, is it? Susan? I'm like, yeah, all before you die. I mean, it is. It's so crazy. And his focus, his ability to look into you and turn your soul on and shine joy directly into your being. It's crazy what they can do. Just 10 seconds. They turn you on, and you have so much energy to be you, and it's a magical, magical thing. It's incredible. It's incredible. I can activate my 3 so I can respond to it. You know? It's like I can. And it's just amazing. But I can't generate 3 in somebody else. So if you're not a 3, I can't generate 3 in you. That's maybe next.
Yeah.
For me.
But you know, I understand that you know if a person has done it. You can feel it, but you can't activate it. That's.
If they're a 3, they'll activate it in themselves.
Yeah.
It's like when I was looking at you, I was like, well, is she gonna engage with me like this? She was like, no, come on, please stop it. Find something else that I like to do, and we did. Yeah. But I can. So I have the ability. What I think I do, is I feel you. You know, and I create a relationship, and I feel you, and I create a relationship, and I feel you, and you know, and then I indulge my mind and say, well, are they looking at me? Do they have this shape of body? So I indulge my thoughts with your physical nature, and then I just wait until my body says try something.
Good. Yes.
Can, for instance, the environment have influence on your energy, or are you born with it?
You're born with it.
You can't change it.
As far as I know, maybe two people with true multiple personalities. I did work with one guy. No, I did work with one guy that was actually had a secondary energy, and he actually changed from 7 to 1, 7 to 1, 7 to 1. Yeah. Yeah, and depending on if she was a she in him. When she was active, she was a 7, and he'd bring up his Jublukumda, his 4 would activate. It was really weird. So I don't know the answer. So far, no, you're born with it. Sometimes in babies, it's just beautifully easy to see. Somewhere around 2 or 3, when they break their connection to source and they start to look outside for their development. Somewhere between 2 and 8, I think is really hard to see. It's the hardest time to see it in kids. But you can, you know, the way they move, the way they run, the way they interact, the way they play. It's there. And then puberty, it seems to cement it in, and people become much more visibly, their natural energy becomes more visible.
But is that, the children, is that because they're not trying to be somebody else? So it's easier to see their energy because they're, you know, they don't care. And
Well,
as a grown-up, we care a little bit how you feel about me, or, you know, we try to kind of be somebody else sometimes when we come in.
Right, that starts around 10, 12. Like our spiritual nature comes in and it's like, no, it's not okay. You can't be different. You have to be like. But no, when kids they're not easy to see between 3 and 8. They're hard to see because they're looking outside. They're learning from everybody around them. They're learning from their parents and their friends, and they're just growing so fast. So there's something in the physiology that cements it with puberty. So if you're, this happens to be, but it's clear that once you know, you look more and more like your energy. So like the people who know here, it's much, much easier to see than for people who don't know.
Can you say something about what it's like to act as a six? I mean, what's your role in the family?
Well, my daughters only come to me if they're stuck, you know, or they need love, obviously. And that's like, I have a 7 daughter, and she's real independent and really spunky, but every now and then she falls apart. And I think this is kind of something that 7s sometimes do. I don't know if you have this experience or not, but a lot of 7s will, you know, they have a more direct connection to death. And death. And so they have this sense and this knowing at a very, very young age that life is utterly pointless. At a very young age. Most of us figure that out around 80 or 90 years old. 7s know at the age of 8 or 9. And so they struggle with that their whole lives long, knowing that, and ironically and beautifully, as their purpose here is to actually help us all find a purpose. Purpose and possibility is what 7 is here for. And so they have to know and own and accept at a very young age that there is no purpose. It's really up to you to find and define your own purpose here. And they care so deeply about us finding and moving towards our purpose that they will tell us even when we don't want to hear.
For me, it was like when I was a kid, I was like, oh, there is obviously a purpose, so for everybody. And I was like, there was no point of being in this life without purpose. So in different period of my life, when I was doubting about what I was believing in, I was lost when I was not believing anymore in the purpose. And I'm not religious, but I needed to believe in something to keep forward. Otherwise, I think, I fall many times about suicide when I was a teenager, but not in a dramatic way, but like more like, what's the point of staying here if there is no purpose?
Yeah, so if you have 7 children, just be aware I'm going to go through that. It's really common. But once they figure out that they're here to help us find our purpose, they're the best guide out there for you to becoming yourself. The 3 and 7, a combination. 7 points you towards it, and 3, boom, turns it once you go.
What's the difference between friends and
So you see where what's possible for us at our cosmic level, our cosmic purpose, and you really care about us going towards that. And 3 inspires the soul, turns the soul on, so you're willing to go in that direction. It has to work together, I think. There's a relationship there. Both do something very, very important about helping us move towards our
3
cosmic.
and 7 is the infinity number.
It is? What was that?
If you divide them, there is infinity in 7.
Oh, really? Oh, interesting.
You never stop. Because you divide it.
The numerology of this stuff is all really fun. Did I answer your question? I kind of went off on a tangent.
Yeah, I have it.
It depends on who. I help people move forward when they're stuck. So people come to me when they're stuck, when they want to know and they want to get moving again.
Yeah.
So my job is to keep the community and everything dynamic and moving forward as a 6. And I'm compelled to do it.
Yeah.
Compelled. Can't not.
Just like the motor.
Yes.
The engine.
Yes. Yeah, 6 is like the
Help find the right way.
yeah.
So 6 can be very good psychologists in the profession of listening and helping to.
Yeah, a lot of 6s are coaches and stuff. But you know, we can all, any one of us can bring our gift to any profession.
But I think I'm spending a lot of time with And I don't need to ask her about anything. I'm just spending time with her, and she puts me on my path. I think that's a huge difference from anybody else at Ennead. I don't need to. I need not ask. She doesn't need to tell me either. I just know after the conversation with her. Oh, okay, I need to. I'm completely.
Speechless.
Yeah, I don't need to ask. Martin and you, as tribes, you tell me things that I don't know, and that's very helpful. And I also don't just have a conversation with you, and you just tell me. I don't need to ask. Yeah, that's.
Oh, it's true.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. He gets mad at me because I want to talk to him all the time. Because when I talk to him, I get clearer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I irritate him, but
The trick is learning when she's asking for an opinion and when she just needs to listen.
I think what we're going to do now is that we're going to have Susan sit here, and if people wants to buy the book, and she sign it, and we have time to do it. We don't rush. And we can mingle a little bit. We can mingle it. And if there's more questions and more things we can do, so we are a little bit aware of the time, because we can be here in the room at 7 o'clock. But I'm conscious about that. People have asked me, so when do we get the book? And
we get the book right now.
yeah,
Right
yeah,
now.
yeah. Good.